we're ready. We're good?
Yeah.
Everyone ready?
Yes.
Let's do it. Okay. My name is Ellie.
And my name is Ross.
Welcome to our podcast, In Real Life, where we dive deep into life, relationships, and real-world topics.
We promise laughter, tears, and jaw-dropping moments. Well, I don't want to promise it. But
So get ready, because this is what it means for us to live in real life.
thanks to our amazing partners, Hivita, we've made a real difference with these 3 episodes, Ellie.
We sure did, Ross. Through Hivita's support, the Hope and Tony Saba Foundation, and the Happy Saba Group, we have been able to make a massive donation to wildlife warriors. But the Irwins, of course, had to earn it.
Yeah, you'll see like in the last 10 minutes with the Fast 5 questions. But Hivita is 100% Aussie-owned and produced.
They are an Australian leader in natural single herbs. There's nothing synthetic.
Available in easy-to-swallow vegan capsules, packaged in glass, best for people and the planet, of course.
So if you're looking to make a change, to feel better, to do good, Hivita is your go-to.
Prioritize you with Hivita and be a part of something bigger.
Available exclusively at Chemist Warehouse. Hey guys, welcome back to In Real Life with Ellie Ross. And today we're still up at the zoo, but we have the beautiful, amazing, talented Terri Irwin with us today.
The Irwins just go on and on, don't they?
The leader of the Irwin family.
It's such an honour to sit down here with you. We've just sat down with Bindi and Chandler. We sat down with Robert. And first question, I'm just going to go straight into it. First question, they say there's no handbook to kids and parenting.
Right.
I reckon if you wrote one, you'd be richer than Elon Musk. Honestly.
You would be.
Good, I'll take that. I'll take that.
I
Thank
reckon
you. I
because
could
you
use
have
that.
produced such incredible children.
Yeah, you have.
What would 3 chapters in that book be? Like, what are maybe a couple of things that you've fought for, you've tried to install in these 2 incredible human beings? And it's obviously rubbed off onto Chandler as well, and he obviously possessed a lot already. But what would a couple of those things be if you wrote Parenting Guide to the Universe? Like, what would a couple of them be?
I mean, you guys think that too, because you've had great parents and great lives and wonderful adventures, and you're just such fabulous people that I think you start looking at, is it nature or nurture? Which is it that, because I think some of it's just being born that way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Bindi and Robert were both really easy, adventurous, mostly compliant, great kids. You know, there were no terrible twos, there were no sullen teens, and they didn't sleep great, but I was cool with that. I didn't mind getting up in the night, but we traveled so much that it really worked because they were so up for an adventure. But I think a lot of it's dumb luck, and a lot of it is how you prioritize your life. So now it's really challenging in the world, because now we have our devices and we tend to go 90 miles an hour all the time.
Yeah.
And both parents have to work. It's no longer a choice. When I was a kid, I had a stay-at-home mother. And now we don't have that luxury anymore. And I think I was very lucky to be able to take Bindi and Robert with us on all of our filming trips. So Bindi was born early, and we were expanding the zoo at the time, and we were buying a property next door. And we had this deal coming up, and then Bindi was born. And I got a call in the hospital from the family who was selling the property, and they said, we were supposed to close today. And I go, well, I gave birth, so I'll see you Monday. And he goes, we had a deal. And I thought, it's fascinating to me. So Bindi was born on a Friday, and Monday our first stop was the lawyers to sign the papers. Yeah, wow. And then 6 days later, she was filming with us on what was then Fraser Island, and 10 days was her first international trip to America. And we were just off and running. So I think whatever your life is, just be there, whether it's weekends or evenings or once a month you go do something special. It doesn't matter how much, but we were really lucky because our kids were always with us. So it was fabulous. So good times, hard times, we were always together. And then I think too, it's just really validating what they've got going on as well. If something is trivial, it might be really big in their world.
Yeah.
And so it's validating their feelings. And then just a good dose of wildlife. I think kids just are so much more courageous if they're not afraid of everything in nature. They're just kind of courageous overall. So if kids, sometimes it's hard for parents not to worry about spiders and snakes and stuff. So I get that, but if you can just kind of use teaching moments instead of squishing moments, it's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly number one is just being there. But I have to tell you, with your little baby Daisy, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
Every
she's our
living
child.
being
Yeah.
just wants to be with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll find that with everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I look forward to you becoming the richest woman in the world when
Yeah.
you do release that book, because
we'll
I guarantee you it'll be a bestseller.
We'll read the book just so we can continue raising Daisy.
She's in the teens now.
Yeah,
she's
14
about to turn
next
14
month.
next month.
Yeah,
my
she's going to live to
goodness.
100 though. She's fine.
Yeah. She'll be
you know.
stem cells, injections into Daisy. Like, we're
But
just
I
gonna
worry about her, any back chat, any sullen nature.
that's something that we have to continually work on. She loves to back chat.
Where does she get that from,
She puts,
Ellie?
I don't know, Ross. But you're a successful woman. You're a wildlife warrior. You're a business owner. You're a mother. You're a public figure. But I would love to know what Terri does when she gets home. She's not working. She has to look after the kids. Grace is with Bindi and Chandler. What do you do to just be in your zone, in your happy place? Like, do you get home and like put your fluffy jammies on and you like your slippers? Do you like watch a movie? Do you watch Selling Sunset?
Do you have a favorite TV show? Do you have a favorite? Is there anything that you like to get? One that doesn't involve one of your children? Do you have that?
Yeah, you're not allowed to pick one of those.
Yeah, well, I'm a boomer, so I still watch TV.
Yeah, okay.
Which is weird. You know that the stuff with the commercials?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go to bathroom breaks in between. But no, I'd love to know, like, how do you spend your time like behind closed doors when you're not all of those things? You're just, just you.
Yeah.
You time.
Yeah, I think every day is so delightfully different. So sometimes you're busy into the night, and sometimes you just get a moment to have quiet time with the pug. And
Little Stella.
Yeah, she's pretty codependent.
Yeah.
So
Needs a mummy. Needs a grandmother.
Yeah, so she's pretty cool. But
Yeah.
I just love that every day is different. That's what I thrive on. And then oftentimes at the end of the day is when I'll catch up with everything. So I do have that guilty, I call it a guilty pleasure, where I get kind of on top of the day's work, and then I can just kind of void my mind, and whether I want to read a book or hop on the exercise bike or whatever I want to do.
Jeez, go Terri.
Well, it was so funny. A friend of mine said to me, wait till you turn 50, it gets a lot harder. And I turned 50 and I'm like, I can still fit into everything. And then about 53, 54, I went, oh crap. So now that I'm 60, you have to really set aside that time. And I think your own health is really important, because if you fall down, everything kind of falls down. So you want to make sure to stay really healthy. So that's a priority as well, is just making sure that I work out 3 days a week, and I like doing that in the morning. So if I have to displace some work and do more in the evening, I'm happy with that. But I do have 2 fluffy robes. One is pink, so Grace calls me the flamingo when I wear that, and one is gray, and I'm the koala when I wear that.
Oh, it's very cute. No khaki pajamas or robes?
I should.
Well, I know what to get you for Christmas now, girl.
And great marketing idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. We need like a little like crocodile like hooded like fluffy robe, or like crocodile fluffy slippers or something cute like that.
No, I see a royalty situation coming in for you.
No, this is not just for you. I'd buy quiet from you. Send me into the zoo anytime.
Great. But yeah, you do need to prioritize yourself and quiet time, and you know, that is really important. And taking care of yourself sometimes means a glass of wine, but it means also not always a glass of wine. So you have to
or an incredible cocktail at the lodge here.
Aren't they amazing and fun with the little bubbles and the smoke?
So good.
And
you forget you're drinking alcohol, which we did after the second
so
one.
good.
Yeah.
We were enjoying ourselves a little bit too much.
Really
Very
good.
relaxing.
Yeah.
So we've had our own experiences with the loss of our dads, but we've never gone through losing. We're each other's soulmates.
Yeah.
So hard to talk about this with you as well. You know,
I can't imagine what it would be like losing your soulmate and your person, and how challenging that would be, because it's not something you just get over. It's something you navigate through every day. Grief is such a complicated, complex like process. There's so many layers to it. But I would love to know how you navigate that loss on your own, in your own way. And did you turn to any kind of support? Did you go to counselling? Like, I would love to know how you process that whole experience and continue to do still to this day.
Yeah, it is something that's a forever game. Yeah, you don't wake up one morning and go, well, I cleared that, you know.
Yeah.
It's something that changes, and grief goes from being all-consuming to kind of walking next to you. So it changes for sure. But I think first of all, acknowledging that grief is grief. And what helped me was I spent some time with the Morecambe family, and Bruce and Denise lost their son who was abducted and murdered. And I was talking to Denise one day, and I said, you know, I know what it's like losing Steve, but he was 44 years old, and every time something incredible happened, he'd go, now I can die. This is the most incredible thing that's ever happened. Yeah. This is the pinnacle of life. Yeah. I'm good now. And I go, it just seems so much sadder to lose a child. And she said, grief is grief.
Yeah.
And she was right. You know, it's all the same. We process it the same, whether it's your little old grandmother or somewhere in between, you know?
Yeah.
And I think for Steve, it was interesting because he got his wish. He said, I'm not afraid of death, I'm afraid of dying. You know, where you don't want to be going through this huge process of getting to the end game. And he said, that's what really scares me. And so when he was hit by the ray, it was an accident, it was unexpected, and he died very quickly. And I thought, there's something to be said for dying well. He, you know, kind of got that wish. But for the rest of us, it's really hard, because when someone dies suddenly, you feel like I didn't have a chance to say goodbye. But I've also learned everyone gets to say goodbye. And you may not know you're saying goodbye, but you do actually get that opportunity. So we'd spent a month together as a family on our crocodile research trip before Steve had his accident. So we really got a long, beautiful, sweet goodbye before we lost him. And I've always felt grateful for that and acknowledge that when people have such dramatic, sudden loss. And I think it was challenging and kind of easier in a way that everything was so public. Because on one hand, we really got chased for weeks with helicopters over the zoo and listening devices and being followed everywhere. And it was really difficult to protect my kids. But today, when I see someone I haven't seen for a long time, no one says, so how's Steve? And then I have to explain what happened over and over and over again. So in that way, people know what happened. But yes, I did remember a couple of things that stand out were when the accident happened, my GP contacted me and said, if you need anything, let me know. I can give you something to help you sleep.
Yeah.
And I go, I'm not even drinking coffee. I feel like I have to be just all here for my kids and work and everything. And a friend of mine is a psychologist, so I contacted Ian and said, what do I do for my kids? And how is this? I thought he was going to go, well, here are the stages of grief. And then on June 26th, 2012, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
You know? And he said, well, you'll never get over this. And I went, no, okay. And it's learning that it's a process of validating your grief and living with it. And all of a sudden you're in this club where after Steve died, so many people were so kind that instead of trying to thank everyone, I wrote a book. But for the publishers of the book, it's a book that you need to make successful. It's not just this love story of Steve.
We have it at home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
My Steve.
Yeah. So
It's
you're
beautiful.
now promoting a book when you're at the lowest point in your whole life and trying to do all of that. So I would be in somewhere America and I wouldn't feel like going out, so I'd order room service. And then the room service guy would come in and then he'd sit down and I'd go, oh, I know what's coming. And he'd go, my wife just died of breast cancer and I don't know what to do and I've got kids and how am I supposed to handle this and I have to keep working and you know, an hour later the flight attendant and all of a sudden I thought, this all walks among us and we don't know. So being able to be a little more kind and thoughtful as you go through life, if someone's having a hard time, maybe there's a reason for it. And just that being a little more patient with our fellow human beings is worthwhile.
Because you not only lost your soulmate, but you had this place to run. And such a public figure. And you just said, you know, it was incredible what you just said. It almost made it a little bit easier being a public figure to sort of maybe pushed you, because everyone knew and you weren't having to say, I'll bring up this trauma all the time. But how do you manage your personal loss? But then you're like, you know, this is what you and Steve built. You just keep on moving forward. You haven't just survived, but you thrived. You know, this place is incredible, and the world knows the Irwin name. And what you guys stand for, the efforts that you guys do around the world, like it's so amazing seeing the updates come through.
Because you could have literally just been like, I'm done, I'm out. Like,
very
I
easy,
can't
and no one would
anymore.
have blamed you. I don't think either.
No one would have blamed you for that.
But you do, instead of just surviving, you've thrived. Like, where does that come from? Like, what's that strength? Where are you pulling that from?
I think first and foremost, I was listening to Bindi and Robert. And about 2 weeks after Steve died, Bindi said to me, when are we going to start filming again? Because that was her normal, see? So I thought, okay, it's okay. Like, my kids never said, great, now we don't have to live in a zoo, you know? They were just like, okay, now we have to keep doing this. This is what we do. So that really helped. And then having to think about things early on really helped. So our marketing team, of all the teams at the zoo, came to me and said, what are we supposed to do? Like, Steve is everywhere. He's in videos and on billboards, and what do you want us to do? And I said, carry on as if he were still here. Just keep it going. Don't feel awkward about promoting the zoo with Steve. It's his message and his mission that he wanted to have continue. He knew he wasn't going to be here forever. And we have to do that. We have to kind of prepare what's our legacy going to be. And I know in talking to young people especially, there's this thought that I'm never going to get old, I'm never going to die, I'm never going to have to worry about anything. But you need your business plan, you need your legacy plan, you need your will, you need everything specified, or you leave behind chaos. So Steve and I had just finished that. We'd finished our business plan.
Oh, wow.
So first of all, I didn't have to think, what are we going to do next? Because we had a 10-year plan.
Yeah.
And our wills were all written, and we were in a place in July that when he died in September, I knew where we were.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
So it was less thinking and more, well, we've planned this.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important too. But you know something I found out not that long ago, that it was one of my favorite stories, because this is really motivating to me. A friend of mine is a journalist, and she said to me, when Steve died, they had a betting pool at this particular place where all the journalists work, which I will remain unnamed.
Do we need a light on fire? Like, drop it.
And,
Bye, guys.
and the bet was, how long would Terri last?
Oh, God.
And no one bet more than a year. And that brings me such joy.
Here we are, baby.
I know.
Yeah.
And I always felt so competitive with Steve. Like when Steve would say, let's do this, I'd go, let's do this.
Yeah.
You know? And so I still have that spirit of competition. He wanted to build a wonderful accommodation place where people could really enjoy themselves and just be Aussies getting back into the bush. And I went, let's do luxury.
Yeah.
And you've done it well.
We love a bit of luxury. We love a bit of bouginess. I, for one, I'm not a huge camper. However, the lodges, amazing.
Yeah, and the food, the
glad.
drinks, just the team there as well.
Aren't
That's
they wonderful?
Yeah,
That's
it's
one
awesome.
of the biggest compliments I feel like you guys constantly get from people who come here. The team are just so
It
amazing.
does attract incredible people.
Yeah.
I
You
feel
just have
really blessed.
the most beautiful team of people around you. And that's such a huge reflection
Yeah.
of you, your beautiful kids.
And as humble as you are, you're blessed, but you
Yeah.
work for it. You
Yeah,
guys
exactly.
work, man. And I,
Yeah.
you know, you work for
Yeah.
it so hard.
I
And
think,
it's so
like-
nice to see those fruits of
Yeah.
that labor.
Yeah.
Not only were you
Yeah.
doing all of that, but you're also raising 2 kids. You weren't just like raising them behind the scenes, like they're in the public eye. They've been in front of the camera their whole lives. Like Bindi Robert's birth was on video. Like we've
That was
all
fun.
we've all seen the video.
And yet the cameraman went on to have children.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Very brave. But I mean, like that must have come with so many huge challenges. How do you navigate something like that with your kids? Like I feel like that would be so daunting in that, just doing that by yourself. How did you make sure that they just turned out to be, well, they did turn out to be such incredible kids, but they didn't go into like the pitfalls of what child stars usually fall into.
Yeah, and you do that thing where you go, how am I going to be mom and dad? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why you do that, but you do. You go, what do I do here? And yet, after I lost Steve, was the first time I really realized how much we were alike. I always looked at him at being just this superhero, and I was the sidekick that made the show work, because I could go, what's that, a lot. And then he could explain it, and I'd be like, oh my God, you know. And when he passed, that was my concern too, is my kids having that kind of balance of family.
Yeah.
But again, it was being together.
Yeah.
And so I got job opportunities for filming that meant I couldn't take my kids, so I turned them down.
Yeah.
And just made sure that they could be part of what I was doing, and that they were happy and comfortable as well, and that we weren't taking on too many challenges. But, you know, Bindi filmed a movie called Free Willy. It was in the franchise. And
I remember it.
yeah, and
Shout out to Bindi.
we got to film in South Africa, and Robert was 5 at the time, and he came along, and I took people with me to look after Robert, and they gave us a per diem so that every night we'd have money to spend on doing stuff. Well, she was filming 6 days a week,
Yeah.
so she had one day to just kind of let loose and at 10 years old, she would want to climb a mountain or go to the beach, or, I would want to lay on the floor, but she was just, yeah, let's go do something. And so I kept all the per diem that we didn't spend, and I gave it to whoever was with Robert. And Robert got to go to where Nelson Mandela was interned. He got to go look at great whites from a helicopter. He went to all the beautiful game parks, and at 5 years old, he remembers all of that. And he had this incredible experience. And I remember we got to set one day, and there was a baby seal stranded on the beach, and it was almost dead. And the person who was with Robert was on that helicopter tour, paid for by the per diems. And so I called him and said, you need to come help this seal immediately. And I knew where to take it, but I couldn't leave set to take it there. So he flew in the helicopter. The pilot landed on the beach. They gathered up the seal. They flew off and saved the seal. And the film crew turned to me and they go, "You're good." You're like, I was like, I know. Yes, I organized the helicopter to fly in. But the point is, these experiences, oh my goodness. As a kid growing up in Eugene, Oregon, I spent 3 months of summer holidays running through the sprinkler, not saving baby seals by helicopter. Come on. So pretty cool
raising
life.
like a little Tarzan. Almost.
Yeah.
And Robert being like just swinging from the trees, 5 years old.
But what a cool childhood. You know?
Incredible.
Amazing.
No, on that though, I mean, there has been, Robert's not even 21. I'm pretty sure Justin Bieber was in jail before he was in trouble with the law and had written off a Lamborghini. You gave it was a tearjerker interview with Peter Overton, 60 Minutes, when he went up to the reserve. It's so hard watching it. It's hard talking about it now, actually. But and I'm sure you knew what you were getting into when he's coming along and you're going to be asked these questions. And you said, obviously there's that sadness, but then there's fear as well. How my kids are going to turn out. You did a pretty good job though, hey?
Yeah, it is scary. It's scary because you're facing the unknown.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen next or how things are going to turn out. But, we practiced as a family. We did 3 things every night before we went to sleep, which is, what was your favorite part of the day? What are you most looking forward to tomorrow? And what was your good deed for the day? So my idea was...
I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
Write that down, write that down.
We're also going to be doing this tonight when we're lying in bed.
So what was it again?
But what's your favorite part of today?
Favorite part of the day.
And some days I'd go, the shower. I had a nice shower because I couldn't think. I was just so sad. And then, what are you most looking forward to tomorrow?
I love that.
Because you need hope for tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can't just get mired down in the sadness of today.
Yeah.
And then what's your good deed of the day? So it's beyond you. It's not just about me and my sadness, but how can I help? And when Robert was really little, he'd go, "Oh, all I did was pick up rubbish at the zoo." And I go, that counts as a good deed. And then the next night, Bindi would be like, "I saved a lizard from a fire," or something really amazing. And Robert would go, "I picked up rubbish at the zoo," But it's that thought process of actually thinking, what can I do to make someone else's life better today that I can think about. And that it really helped. But it's scary. And it's that complete and utter loss of control. Except for losing your own life, there's no greater feeling of loss of control.
Yeah.
I can't reel this back. There's no do-over.
Yeah.
It's gone now, and you just have to try to carry on in the face of grief and fear and all those things.
Are you starting to feel now that they're coming into their own and obviously Bindi and Chandler have a beautiful family, and Robert being the young man that he is that fear sort of starting to, are you able to put your feet up a little bit more and be like, my kids are doing good, they're doing all right, is it a different kind of fear?
Yeah, well, Robert went to South Africa for the Earthshot Prize, and South Africa is beautiful and mostly really safe, and somewhat also not. Yeah. So, I don't think that ever goes away. It's just, you always worry about your kids, you know? And Bindi's health is so much better, but I still worry about her health. And, and now I get a do-over with Grace. She's beautiful, perfect, fun. I love every minute with her, and she is so smart and beautiful and brilliant, and there's that worry again, you know?
Bindi actually said she's like a little mini Steve.
She is exactly like Steve. God bless her, and I'm so sorry for Bindi and Chandler. Because I know the future. I know what's going to happen. Yeah.
Well, we asked Chandler, Bindi, Robert the same question. But if you could have a night with Steve at the Steve Irwin Reserve, what would you do? Would you ask him a question? What would you say? Is there anything that comes to your mind that you would just want to do with him?
I have a feeling my answer is going to be dramatically different.
We know what
children.
We know. Yeah. We know one of the things that you might be doing.
You were going to go there. Probably going to go there.
That wildlife will be woken up.
Yeah. Bit of alone time.
Yeah.
I love it when Terri comes through with the dirty jokes. I feel like that's something a lot of people don't know about you is you have
that
such
raw,
unexpected, like not like dad jokes, but it's like you have these like really funny little like
just
moments
that wit, and it's so quick as well.
It's
I know what we'll be doing.
Yeah, Terry's the mum, like the mama bear, and you know, but there's this really funny, hilarious side to you, and I feel like people get like a glimpse of it at the gala every year when you get up and say your part, and you're like, okay, Robert, you take over. Like,
so once a couple of those things are done and the sun's coming up, but is there some, would you just? Ellie and I had the same question. We asked each other about our dads.
Yeah.
Mine was I would sit in silence with him. Ellie had a few things she'd wanted to say. What would yours say? The sun is coming up. Would you just want to sit in silence? Is there anything you'd want to say? Would you, what?
Yeah, I think what's interesting is I dream about Steve all the time. And in my dreams, I don't know I'm dreaming.
Right.
So in my dreams, you would think that I would be saying, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. Here's all the things I forgot to ask you. Here's everything I want you to know. And this is just this monumental moment. But no, we are doing normal zoo stuff every time I see him in my dreams. And then I wake up and go, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I just have the feeling that you kind of cycle through life. And I think you kind of find each other every go around. So I think it would be marvelously normal. Just
Pick
wonderfully.
that up where you left off, sort of.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be just the time to say, okay, now what are we going to do?
Yeah.
What are we going to do now? What's the plan? And that's all we ever did. We'd sit by the fire. He would literally fire stare. He'd build a fire in the backyard. And we'd sit by the fire.
That's some of the best things to do.
Yeah.
Staring at the fire.
And just plan. We would plan and dream. And some of it was realistic and would happen, and some of it was just king for the day. How we'd fix the world. But it would be it'd be pretty cool.
We've certainly gone. You and your family have done so much towards fixing the world, and we know that there's so much more to do. One of the best ways to do that is with some money. So you're close with Michael and Jasmine Saba from the Happy Saba group.
Happy Saba group.
When they found out we were doing a chat with you guys, and we were like, we're going to do fast 5 questions at the end, they were like, can we give them $1,000 for every question that they get right?
We did
to
have a
Wildlife
cap,
Warriors.
So we've
So
got 5 questions
I'm like,
for you.
I'm sure that they would take money. So
These people are way more amazing than that. You go back and say, Terry's thrilled to accept $10,000 a question.
Yeah. Let's turn it up a little bit.
We'll
So
dial
look,
it up a little
there's
bit.
10,000. So Robert was 5 for 5.
Yeah.
Bindi and Chandler were 5 for 5. So it's already up to 10 grand.
They were 5
So we've got
questions.
5 questions for you and for
Yeah.
everyone that you get right. They're tough.
Yeah.
They are tough.
What color is the sky? Let's
Make them. We did make them. We didn't want to just give money away to wildlife warriors. What do you think we are?
We didn't
Crazy.
want to make it too
So,
easy.
first question
They're
is,
good
and
people.
fast five to wrap this
Okay.
up.
Yeah.
Fast five. First one. What's the craziest or weirdest thing someone's ever done at the zoo?
Craziest or weirdest thing? I can think of a few crazy things, but one of the craziest things probably was you have an opportunity to meet our wildlife. So we use people as enrichment. So if you get in with the meerkats, they climb all over you and they look in your ears for bugs, and they have this really great time. And every time someone comes in, it's a new experience.
Yeah.
So we had, at the time, beautiful young tiger cubs, and people would get to meet the tiger cubs, and it was beautiful. And then the money would go back to our program of anti-poaching units in Sumatra protecting tigers in the wild. So it's this beautiful program, and the tigers loved it. And one woman said, "I want a photo with the tiger nude. I want to be naked with the tiger." And we were like, no.
I was thinking, are you going to say, how much are you willing to donate? Because if you're willing to donate
How many zeros are on here?
No, just no.
Yeah.
No.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we do get funny rescues as well. We went on a rescue one time that someone had a crocodile in their backyard. And we're like, how did that happen on the Sunshine Coast?
Yeah.
And it was a dinosaur toy that a dog had chewed on. So then the next call is on an iguana in someone's backyard. And I'm like, I can't wait to see what that is because they live in South America.
Yeah.
And it was a green iguana.
Yeah.
For real. I have no idea where it came from. They live in South America.
Illegally flown in, obviously.
Obviously.
Not legally here.
Yeah, so
on a visa.
plenty of weird things.
Well, look, that is the correct answer.
Yes,
That's
correct
$1,000.
answer. $1,000
That is the
to
correct
Terri.
answer.
So you heard about that woman. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yep, definitely did. $1,000. One
Yeah.
from one.
What year did the Crocoseum open to the public?
That was very memorable. Yes. Robert wasn't very old. The Crocoseum was finished when it opened when Robert was 26 days old. So that was Christmas 2003.
You have a really good memory.
Yeah, well.
Nothing gets past you, does it?
Well, I don't know.
And that is also correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
$2,000, Terri.
2 from 2.
So in the last...
It gets harder.
In the last 5 years, and this is not a quick trick question, in the last 5 years...
Call it
what
almost
has,
3 years to the date.
Yeah. What has been the best wedding proposal you've ever seen inside the Crocoseum?
Oh, I wouldn't say it was the best wedding proposal. I would say it's the best thing that ever happened in the Crocoseum, in the history of the Crocoseum. I mean, the Crocoseum was built inspired by Gladiator, the drama, the conflict. Then we added the romance, the deep,
Well, you guys
passionate
did.
love.
I did nothing. I just stood there. You guys cooked
When
this
innocent
up.
Ellie thought she was just going to be there to feed a crocodile.
Or just there to feed a crocodile. Like,
She was,
that's
she was
no
going
big
to be
deal.
fed to a crocodile if she said no. Or I was just going to jump in the croc. All right, I guess not.
My life's over.
Well, we walked straight into that one.
It was,
but that's correct.
It was
Correct question,
beautiful.
correct answer.
It was beautiful.
It
And
took
it was
like 7
always-
years to set. I mean,
Yeah.
the first time that I asked,
I know.
it was like 8 years prior.
I know.
And then
You guys
some
did
tragedy
good.
struck us, and then it was like when Ellie was on Big Brother fighting for wildlife.
Yeah.
$100,000 is going to go. She should have won that. She should have won that.
Easily.
But then we're like, let's do something. That was
Yeah.
honestly one of the most magical moments.
Yeah.
It was. You guys did a good job.
So cool.
It
Can't
was
so
believe
cool.
you got around me
Beautiful.
because I see and hear and know everything.
We made it her
Do you
idea.
know
Remember how
do you
we
know
made it her idea, remember?
Oh, man. Yes.
And you guys are like, yeah, I reckon you should do that in celebration. Feed a crocodile.
Yes.
So
you
sneaky.
go.
So sneaky.
So sneaky.
Next question. That's correct as well.
And
3
you're
from 3.
fearless
Yep.
as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, girl.
Facing a
Well,
crocodile.
I pick up a few things from you, you know.
Yeah.
3 from 3. That's $3,000.
Yeah.
Next one. Who sung? This is a little bit harder. Who sung? Yes, you do. Who sung "Circle of Life"? And what album was it from? And it was like Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. You know, it was like Simba and Mufasa. And you know the same how he sang, you know, Crocodile Rock. But he did this album, Elton John.
Okay. Whenever I hear any questions about music, I know nothing. Ask me about Frank Sinatra. However, Robert just did the Earthshot Prize not that long ago, and he sang there.
Elton John did? Did I give it away?
No. It's
Ross, we made this question way too hard.
Well, what album? It's actually two-part. It's Circle of Life and what album?
L'Obm, and he sang the first part of Circle of Life in his Zulu language. So, yeah.
So I didn't know that. That should be extra points.
Yeah, so Elton John was involved,
yes.
But that was the singer.
Yeah.
This
So
beautiful
Terri
Zulu
knows more
man.
than we do on the question.
And yeah, good for you, Elton. But he was amazing, and still, 20 years later or whatever it is, still singing beautifully.
Yeah.
He is just so inspiring and beautiful.
Yeah.
And I have no idea the album, The Lion King.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Was it? Oh.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Great.
4,000. Last question for 5
that.
for 5.
Okay,
5 for 5.
How long can a
And look,
saltwater crocodile
It's got to be crocodile related.
spend underwater? Stop interrupting me. A, an hour. B, up to 8 hours. Or C, between 1 to 3 hours.
Yeah, so when everybody was writing the biology books about crocodiles, they thought it was, they could hold their breath for 2 hours. And I don't know how they surmised that. So we have these trackers that can track how deep they dive and how long they stay down and their body temperature and all this information, which is really cool. So we have consistently timed dives that were in that 8-hour vicinity, just under or just over 8 hours. But we've also gotten a few crocodiles at over 10 hours.
Wow.
But I don't think we have enough of that data to say conclusively 10. So I would say 8. But it's rewritten biology books. It's fascinating.
Well, look, we trust you on that. So
That is correct.
5 for 5, Terri.
How cool is that?
Congratulations.
Science, baby.
Yeah.
You guys just won $15,000 for Wildlife Warriors.
Wow.
You get Fast 5 for each of you. So congratulations. Thanks for joining us on our podcast and showing us what it
thank you
means
so
for
much.
you to live in real life. It's been such a pleasure, such an honor to hear you speak about your life, your kids, just how you've gotten through everything. We had so many more questions we wanted to ask you, but we know that there's time constraints. So thank you so much.
See, I'm prioritizing my granddaughter.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
And do that.
Little Grace needs...
No, it's honestly, it's been such a pleasure to be a tiny fraction of, and like to be inspired by you guys all the time. It's so amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. We'd love to come back and maybe have a bit more of a relaxed chat. Maybe let's get some cocktails involved.
Yeah.
We'll do it. Let's do it at the lodge. Maybe a pool session by the lodge. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
so
I've just
much.
been loving your podcast too.
Oh, thank you.
I love everything
you.
you're covering off on, and keep talking about those subjects that we need to hear about. So thank you very much.
No,
thank
thank
you.
you. We love
Thank
you,
you.
Terri. And thank you, guys. Do all the
Yay.
things, like, subscribe.
Thank you.
Share. We love you.
Do those things, or ask the boomer about writing a letter. You can write them a letter too. You can say, "Dear Ross and Ellie, this is what we'd like to see on the show."
We'll put our PO box address in the show notes.
Yeah.
guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, there
I'll
we go.
get cracking on that letter.
Thank you so much, Terri.
No worries.
It's been a
Thanks, Terri.
pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in to In Real Life. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love for you to subscribe on Spotify and connect with us on Instagram at IRL with us. And remember, life isn't about meeting other people's expectations. It's about living it on your terms and meeting your own expectations. So go out there and live in real life. We'll see you next time.